Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to The Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, my lovely listeners, and welcome to another episode of The Social Circus. Now, today I have a really cool guest. I have got the lovely Cassie from Stardrop Cleaning, and we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. But first of all, I'm going to get her to say hi and introduce herself, and then we're going to talk some juicy stuff. So welcome, Cassie.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today. This is lovely.
I'm so excited to have you on here, and I'm slightly daunted, and we'll talk about why in a minute. But you have such a great voice because you're a voiceover coach.
Yes. Yes. So I am a small business owner, but on the side, I like to say that I moonlight as a voiceover artist. Yeah. So it's something I did in a previous life that has carried over since starting my small business. So why not, you know?
Let's talk about what you do during the day, and let's talk about why did you start your business, because that's quite a fun journey as to voiceover coach to cleaning company.
Sure. So I am the owner and the one-woman band behind Stardrop Cleaning. So I provide home cleaning services to my local community. And I do have what I like to call like a specialty focus on the neurodivergent community. I have a lot of friends in the neurodivergent community who definitely struggle when it comes to cleaning and maintaining their household. And I really don't want them to feel like it is something that they have to feel completely burdened by. So I like the idea of, helping in whatever way I can. Mm-hmm. So the business has been running now for a year. Woohoo! I hit my year milestone last month, which felt very special. When you hit that 1 year milestone, like, I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing.
Absolutely.
So before then, I was working for an advertising company for almost 9 years. Specifically, it's like a very niche industry, but it's still up and running. But it's for phone audio. So for example, if you have the pleasure of calling the Water Corp, you will hear me greet you and tell you that I'm so thankful that you are holding, and please be patient. Our team will be with you in just a moment. So my job was a copywriter. I would write the copy, and I was also the voiceover artist for quite a few different clients. And, I like to look back with no regrets. I think that's a positive and healthy mindset to have.
Absolutely.
It was good while it lasted. You know what I mean? Like it was a good job while it was there. I don't think it was for me forever, really.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I had a bad day at work, and I was thinking about it on the way home, and I knew I wanted to do something different. And I'm just so grateful that I had that light bulb moment when I realized, oh, wait, I love cleaning, and I've always loved cleaning. Let's do this. Let's give it a go. So yeah, I took the leap last year, and here we are.
Oh, I love that. And every time I hear people say, I love something that I hate, it always reminds me that there is always something for everyone, because we all have what lights us up. Like it's just, it's fascinating what people enjoy. Like when people say, I have a client who's a bookkeeper, because it makes me so happy when everything balances. And I'm like, yay, I'm so glad you exist to the world. And I'm glad we have cleaners, and I'm glad that you enjoy what it is you do, because it's a very hard right turn from being a copywriter voiceover to running a cleaning company. Yeah. And I know that Ash will be listening to this episode, who is our HR expert, and she is madly trying to recruit for you at the moment. So whilst you're a one-woman band, you're about to expand, which is exciting.
Yes.
But one of the things so for all of my listeners, I have the pleasure of having Cassie in my mastermind as one of my members. And obviously we get to know each other over the year. And I was really excited to hear Cassie talk about things that she does a little bit differently as a cleaner, but most importantly, the fact that she does streaming on Twitch. Now, I am certain that most people, unless you're blessed like me to have a bunch of gaming fanatics in your house like I do, I'm married to one, I have two gaming sons, it's highly likely you haven't heard of what Twitch is and not even realize that there's this whole big world going on out there. So Cassie, let's start with a little overview, because I know that prior to streaming for your business, you have been a lover of Twitch because you love the platform. So let's talk a little bit about your background, and tell us a little bit about Twitch as a platform.
So Twitch has been going on for yonks. I couldn't tell you the exact year, but it has just been around for so, so long. It is essentially just a live streaming platform where, anyone and your husband, your nan can go live and do whatever it is that you really want. So, playing games, maybe recording a podcast. A lot of people like to do that.
Hmm.
Co-working, I do some cleaning and organizing streams. There's a whole world out there. There's another one that's called IRL, which is in real life.
Hmm.
So that's like, come to a cafe with me and then we'll go vintage shopping. And then that can just be streamed to, usually it starts off to just you and, a couple of mates. So you might have
Yes.
your besties watching you, but sometimes it does grow. Sometimes you can attract the right people into your little community.
Hmm.
And I'm a part of quite a few little communities on Twitch of these streamers that I've followed for quite a long time now.
Mm.
And they kind of feel like almost like an online pen pal, like it's
Hmm.
you can chat with them a little bit. They are still, obviously behind a screen and um some streamers really they really approach it like it's work, which is completely fine. If
Hmm.
you've got that mindset, you've got like you clock in, you clock out, that kind of thing. But Twitch is really you get out of it what you put into it. So a lot of people approach Twitch as a viewer,
Hmm.
but I highly encourage people to go live if it's something that you've always wanted to do and it intrigues you, then
Mm.
I say go for
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've tried it on a couple of different ways. I had a personal account on Twitch
Hmm.
a few years ago, and I was doing gaming and just chatting, really, just like,
Yep.
getting the right kind of like people in my community and whatnot. I ended up, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say before you dive too much in, because for those people who haven't heard of Twitch before, most people would understand. Thank goodness now we understand what esports are and we understand that gaming is an actual job.
Yes.
I feel like my brother is probably so sad he wasn't born now because he could have sat in his bedroom and gamed and made money, which was 100% not a job when I was a teenager. But when we talk about people making money from gaming, I think
Mm.
us. My son calls me a boomer, which he knows I hate, but us Gen Xers often think about it being like you've monetized your YouTube channel, right? But in reality,
Yeah.
most gamers are making money from Twitch. So do you want to explain how that works? Because you talked a little bit about
hmm
communities.
So it's first of all, you have to understand. I think a lot of people think like, oh, I will go ahead and go on Twitch and I will be able to quit my 9 to 5 and be a streamer. Um, no, you have to be
Well,
very lucky to be
it's
able
like
to do
YouTube,
that.
it's like the
A hundred
1%.
percent. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Or a lot of people go live on TikTok and things like that. And again, I think you have to be quite lucky to be able to like make
Catch a
proper
wave.
money. 100%. So with Twitch, it is similar to YouTube and TikTok in the sense that there's kind of like Twitch currency. So you will be able to subscribe to a channel if you want to. It's
Mhm.
around $8 a month. Now, look, I'm sure that Twitch take X percentage. I'm not sure of the exact percentage, but the streamer will get a few, dollary dues from that one.
Mhm.
And you also have other ways of you can just donate directly. So some people just put up a tip page, so you can
Yes.
donate to their what is it, their PayPal,
Yes.
or have you seen Kofi, or is it pronounced coffee? I'm never
I don't
sure.
know, but I
It's
know
another
that
one.
I know my kids love gaming, and they like watching people game, and they watch a lot of Twitch streamers because they
Hmm.
enjoy watching people play games. And I remember during COVID when Fortnite was so huge, and I
Yeah.
swear all my kids were either playing Fortnite or watching Fortnite. And those people that made it big as streamers, it was such a small minority, as we said. It's because people are enjoying that process of live watching someone play. And so
Yeah.
this can feel, and I want to kind of explain this to my listeners because this can feel super foreign. And I want to just say, I remember asking my oldest Matthew, um, why do you want to watch someone else play a game you could play yourself? And his
Hmm.
response was, why do you go and watch cricket?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
very legitimate. And it
Yes.
kind of really made me call out my own bias because of what I thought gaming was and what it actually is. And so there are literally millions of people every day on Twitch watching someone do something. And predominantly it's gaming, but there are also lots of other niches. So this makes me sound super sad, but on New Year's Eve, we really love music, but our kids were having a party, so we were stuck here to make sure we were supervising at home, didn't get destroyed. And so we were hanging out watching someone who was doing a live DJ set on Twitch for New Year's
Yeah.
Eve.
Nice.
To be fair, it was very fun because she did get quite drunk as the night progressed. It was very fun to watch that unravel.
Oh, good
But
for
it's
her.
kind of cool because you kind of like, I feel like we were stuck at home. We're having this live DJ experience. It was really fun and really cool. So, but you can also watch. So for people who are of my vintage, and if you liked as a child, and I'm showing my nerd stripes now, if you liked Dungeons and Dragons old school with the boards and the dice and all that kind of stuff, you can watch people doing Dungeons and Dragons, but they're streaming. They're not playing a video game. They're showing you their IRLs in real life. So you can watch people play chess. You can watch people, as you mentioned, do cooking. You can watch them go vintage shopping. You can watch people doing everything. Now, those are significant niches. Okay. But what we want to talk about, Cass, because I feel like you've kind of dived into something very bravely that most business owners don't do, is trying a new platform.
Mhm.
And let's talk a little bit about what it is that you do on Twitch and how it aligns with your business.
So there's a couple of different kinds of streams that I like to do. So I do when I'm cleaning and organizing at home, even just doing laundry, just general household tasks, I will set up my phone, which is my camera. I'll iron that out. In the future, we'll get our own
Mm,
camera. And I'll just stream myself cleaning up. And honestly, the purpose of that is to offer some version of body doubling for
mhm.
those who may be struggling to. I knew that they were going to go off now. Sorry. If you can edit it out, it should be okay then.
Mhm. Yeah,
They're pretty
absolutely
loud.
fine. Yeah.
So one of the ways that I like to tackle streaming is through cleaning and organizing and doing my laundry and household tasks. So in particular, that will provide some body doubling for those who want to engage in my services, but maybe like don't live in WA, or maybe just for even, like friends and family who need some extra company
Mhm.
while cleaning themselves. I think, oh,
Before you
go
go
ahead.
on, I'm going to ask you to explain because not everyone has neurodiverse family or neurodiverse friends and understands what body doubling is and why it's important. So can you explain that?
So, body doubling is essentially one of those things where if you're struggling, if you're struggling with doing like a everyday task, could be cooking. Let's just say for me, it's cooking. Like I'm struggling with that. Body doubling is a really good way where you're watching someone else do the task that you want to do. So, what that can do, I'm sure that there's like a whole jargon of,
We don't need to do the tech
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that I'm probably missing. But essentially, what it is it can really motivate you to get on with things. When you're watching someone do the thing that in your head you have built up to be this really big task, you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out. Watching someone do the task can sort of ease things for you, can give you a little bit of motivation to get on with it yourself. So some people can, for example, they'll do body doubling with like a support worker. So if someone comes over and they'll do some tidying up together, when you're seeing someone tidy up, I think a lot of people that maybe have lived in share houses with housemates, they can attest to this, where when someone starts cleaning around you, you kind of feel like, ooh, maybe I should do some cleaning myself. And it gives you that
Absolutely.
little, it gives you that little like kick up the bum, that little
Mhm.
bit of motivation. So that is one of the ways that I feel like I can offer like a little bit of a service, because I do tend to have that it's a pretty frustrating mindset where like I want to help everyone all the time, but unfortunately I'm not superwoman as much as I might think I am. So this is my sort of way of connecting in that small way to give people a little bit of motivation, or quite frankly, just background company. Just hearing someone clean in the background can give them that motivation to start cleaning themselves,
I
hopefully.
love that. And the other thing that you've been trialing as well is online co-working, which I think most of
Yes.
us business owners know what co-working is. I do co-working both online and in person,
Mhm.
and I love it because I find it incredibly productive. So let's talk a little bit about how you do co-working on Twitch because when you said that, I was like, that's so cool.
So that is a full category on Twitch in itself. So Twitch has all the different categories of the avenues that you can go down when it comes to live streaming. And I was really surprised to see that co-working, and I think it's called co-working and studying, is just a
Ooh,
separate, yeah, a separate category all in its own. So people approach it in all different ways, whatever works for you works for you. I'm still trialing it, to be fair. So what I do at the moment is essentially what you're looking at right now in the Zoom chat. So my webcam or my phone will be at a flattering angle, and
always flattering.
always flattering, no matter what, every angle. And well, I'm essentially just getting on with my work. So I don't necessarily stream my desktop computer. Obviously, I've got a lot of sensitive and personal stuff there that I would not like anyone other than my eyes to see.
Mhm.
So I put on, there is a particular game it's called Study Sessions. Like it's like a lo-fi study game. And
Mhm.
it's this really cute little anime girl that's like typing away on her computer. And it's just something to have a
Like
look
a
at
visual.
while you're,
Hmm.
yeah, just a little something. And then I also have, the game allows you to play lo-fi hip hop, which I really like when I'm
Hmm.
studying and doing co-working. And you can also have like ambient sounds, such as like a fireplace crackling or, rain on the windowsill, all that kind of stuff. It just sort of adds to that kind of cozy, comforting ambience that I personally really like when I'm trying to get on with these really big admin to-do lists, because I find if it's just me in my office, oh, the Facebook scrolling and the online window shopping, all that kind of stuff can really,
Super distracting.
get out of control. Yeah. Whereas if I'm streaming, it feels like I'm being held accountable. It's like all the teachers watching me. Obviously, it'd be maybe just a few, besties watching me, but
Mhm.
it's been really lovely, and I've had some nice feedback from it so far. So far, so good.
So I love that. So you're kind of using it in two different ways. You're doing a
Yeah.
little bit of co-working and when you're doing some admin type work, and then you're doing that body doubling, maybe some cleaning and decluttering. And is
Yes.
that a category in Twitch as well, like cleaning and stuff?
It it used to be a category. I haven't been able to find it for a long time. So when I'm doing my cleaning, I use a very popular category called just chatting. I think it
Mhm.
might be the most popular category on Twitch because I think it's so broad, right? It's you
Yes.
can essentially do anything.
It's like a what else or other.
Yeah, the miscellaneous, yeah.
Yes.
So I find it is a little bit misleading though, because I'm not actually chatting at all. I'm
Mm.
literally, doing the dishes, but I do like to have those breaks in between where I come back to the laptop, come back to my camera, and if people have popped in to say hi, I can at least chat with them a little bit there while I'm getting on with things. So
Yep.
yeah, it's been really lovely. I do quite like those streams a lot because, to be honest, I forget that I'm streaming a lot of the time because I'm
Oh,
just getting,
wow. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very natural and authentic, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
you doing your thing. And I know at the moment you're quite new to the platform, and I love that you've come on to share because we get to see your journey. But if some of us, like for me, doing co-working would be a very small reach because I already do online co-working, I already know how to do that, and I'm all set up here with all my bits and bobs. But um, for you, are you doing a schedule and saying, oh, every Friday morning I'm doing this, or are you just showing up and doing it ad hoc, or how are you approaching it at the moment and giving people a cleaning calendar, or are you just doing your thing?
Really, it's ad hoc at the moment.
Mm.
Life is just, oh, it loves to get in the way. So I was trying to do every Saturday for a while, but look, things pop up, and I think personally, I'll get a little bit in my head about schedules and things like that. I suddenly feel like it's like another thing I quote unquote have to do. So
Yes.
in this sense, I tend to just, if I have the time to do it, and it's like I really want to make sure that for me personally, streaming is like as low effort as possible, because it's just for fun, really. It's like a hobby on
Mm.
top of everything else. It's something that I also really love for my business, because I don't necessarily, personally, just for me, I don't necessarily want to make TikToks and things like that. It's like a whole world that's
Oh yeah, it's
just not for
awful.
me. Yeah, it's just like me
And I,
me
and I have to
delicately
say,
trying to.
I do love watching people clean on Reels, which
Oh
is weird
yeah.
because I loathe cleaning. I don't want to do it, but I will watch someone. I particularly like people cleaning rugs and stuff that's super dirty and
Oh
super
yeah.
satisfying. I'll watch
Hmm.
that all day. So it is weird what we have. sort of found ourselves leaning into in this age of there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's really fun that you're kind of trying something out because it's something that you have always enjoyed. You've loved being on Twitch yourself
Hmm.
and kind of giving it a go. One, for your business to help and support people, particularly in that neurodivergent space, which can be really challenging to stay
Hmm.
organized. But I love that you're doing co-working and I love that there's a whole category for that because I believe co-working is such a game changer for us in business. If we can sit down and put all the distractions aside, we can actually get some stuff done, you know. It's
Yeah.
really exciting. So um if you were to try and monetize this, what would that look like and what would you have to do? That would be really interesting to know.
So there's a few different steps for you to get monetization. So I have hope because I've done it once before, so I feel like I can definitely do it again.
Woohoo.
So what they ask for so it happens over the course of a month. You need to stream on 7 different days, which okay, we can do that,
Hmm.
over 30 days. You need to have it's like an average, it's a really specific number, but you need to have like an average of it's something like 2.5 to 3 viewers on average per stream. So it
Hmm.
doesn't sound like a lot, but in the ocean that is live streaming on Twitch, sometimes
Hmm.
that can be really difficult to get that consistency. And then what I'm working on at the moment that I feel like is probably the more realistic one organically is I need 50 followers on Twitch.
Hmm.
So once you hit those 3 parameters, you can go what's called affiliate. So being an affiliate streamer on Twitch is where you can have people subscribe, like I mentioned before, like the $8 a month. They can donate. There's a whole other category called Twitch Bits, which is essentially another way. It's like Twitch currency. That's another way
Mm.
that you can support the streamer. So all
Yes.
of that stuff only unlocks once you go affiliate. Beyond then, you have like you can be partnered on Twitch, and that's where things are like that's quite like much harder goal. But at this stage, if I
Hmm.
can just get affiliate, I would be a very happy chappy.
Woohoo. And I mean, whilst they're not huge things, particularly if you already have, like for me, I have an existing audience. So I'm sure if
Hmm.
I kind of sent an email to my database and said, come and subscribe to me, I'm on Twitch and come and join me for co-working,
Sure.
I could probably do that quite easily if I'm
Hmm.
honest. So to be able to monetize something, like in all fairness, YouTube is significantly harder than that.
Okay, yeah, I've
Oh
not,
yeah,
like, do
so
you
like
mean like the streaming or like just like releasing
both,
videos? Oh,
both.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, like you need a lot more followers
yeah.
and a lot more content. So my nephew is a streamer and he has, I think he's got like 30,000 on YouTube and a lot less on Twitch and he makes more money off Twitch.
Oh,
So
wow.
I
Wow.
know, I know. Talk about teenage boys living their best life, I tell you. But from a business perspective, I think what I really want my viewers, my audience to hear is that there's this whole platform out there that if you don't have gamers in your life, you probably don't know exists. And like
Mm,
you said, Cass, it's been around, Twitch has been around, I feel like as long as my kids have been around, which is surely not
yeah.
true. But it's owned by Amazon, which obviously we don't love, but it does mean it has really big backing behind it.
Hmm. That's true.
Yeah. So, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's just one of those things that is actually quite new. Amazon took over Twitch only in the last few years. So before it was independently owned, it used to be called Justin TV. So I would presume that the CEO was named a guy named Justin, and him and his partner sold Twitch for, let's just say, quite a multiple millions of dollars. So I think they
Oh, I'm
are living
sure.
living their life or their best life at the moment. So
Well done then.
the fact that it is linked to Amazon can feel a little bit icky. Like that is
Yeah.
very true. There is also the other part of it where if you are a Amazon Prime subscriber, you actually, and you may not know this, so there's probably a few people listening that have no idea that this is a thing, but as part of your Prime membership, you get one free Twitch subscription per month. So that
Ooh.
can be to anyone that you want. That could be to, the local gamer that lives in Sydney, or that could be to, actually, did you know that there is a 24/7 Bob Ross channel on
Oh, how good is
Twitch?
that?
So you can subscribe to Bob Ross for the month. So if you've got Prime, I would suggest using that because now it's free. Why not? You're already paying for Prime, so that's
Well, and
good.
it'd be a good way to try things out and have a little go. But
Yeah.
I hope for my listeners, this has inspired you to go and check out the platform to see what's going on there and see if this isn't a different alternative because I I think, Cassie, for most of us business owners, we don't have a lot of, I don't want to say morals, but we have to play in platforms like Meta and
Yeah, yeah,
X and all of those dreadful places that are owned by
yeah.
dreadful billionaires. So I feel like we're okay with Amazon. But it's
Yeah.
good to know. But the good thing about Amazon owning is obviously they're going to throw money at the development and software and all those kind of things, which is always a positive. But you would be surprised whenever I go on there, I'm always fascinated as to who is doing what on there. And I
Yes.
think it'll blow your mind when you go on there and see what's actually being done on Twitch. And you'll be like, oh, so there's an audience for that. And the answer is probably yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you for coming on and chatting today about Twitch. I really appreciate it. And thank you for being really honest, because I know that you're in your infancy with your Twitch journey. And it's always harder to talk about whilst you're learning your lessons public rather than going, oh, yes, I'm a Twitch star and look at me, kind of, that different
Yeah.
space, which is really easy to share from. So thank you for coming on today, Cassie. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. This has been lovely. I've been, really enjoyed just like getting into one of my little special interests. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
My pleasure. And to all of my listeners, be sure to check out the show notes because I'm going to include the link for Cassie's Twitch stream, obviously. And I would encourage you to go and have a little look and see what she's up to. But while you're there, go and have a little look around the platform, have a play and see if this might not be something new for you to try in your business. So I hope you feel inspired and I hope you have a great week. And I'll catch you the same time next week on The Social Circus. Thanks so much for tuning in to The Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favourite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.